The New York Jets, Jets. They went 7-10 last year. They didn't make the playoffs. Some notable losses include Mike White, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, Denzel Mims, George Fant, Nathan Shefford, Sheldon Rankins, and Lamarcus Joyner. Notable additions include Aaron Rodgers, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Mecole Hardman Jr., Joe Tippmann, Will McDonald IV, Al Woods, and Adrian Amos. Their strength of schedule goes from tied for 17th to this year being the sixth hardest. Some notes: Nathaniel Hackett is the new offensive coordinator. He was the Broncos head coach last year. So, what do we think about the Jets?
I Again, I'm trying to be non-biased just because it's my division, but I get it. You bring in Aaron Rodgers and everybody loves him, and he's got all the MVP awards and whatnot. But you're also dealing with the same Aaron Rodgers that is is what in his 40s now, right? So uh, he's probably one good hit away from your entire. I mean, look at all the guys you just listed that they brought in. And not only the guys they brought in, but the defenses just in their division they have to play. He takes one wrong hit, and all that money that you just invested in is wasted. Because what? It's Zach Wilson, right? He's their backup now that Mike White's gone. So I, even with him healthy, I don't love him. Like I have him winning 10 games next year. There's been a lot of again, this is New York media, so it could be blown up a little bit, but there's been reports that him and Robert Saleh haven't exactly been gelling like they're trying to, portray in Hard Knocks so far. And they're Rodgers is a very alpha male guy, so it's Rodgers' team basically in 2023. So 10 wins, man. That I don't see him getting above 10 wins, man. Especially with the sixth hardest schedule. I don't see it. Prove me wrong, but I don't I don't see him taking that big of a leap even with all these guys they brought in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm personally not buying into the Jet hype, even with the additions. Like Rogers always said that Green Bay never got him any weapons, and then he goes to New York and then brings over two of his wide receivers that weren't his weapons. And even getting Mecole Hardman, like he'll play maybe 5 games before he gets hurt. He's been injury prone and he'll make plays when he's playing. He just doesn't always play. So it's really going to come down to if Rodgers can be that MVP type guy that he was a few years ago, or is he going to finally let age catch up to him?
When I was making the notable losses and additions, I noticed that for every position that they lost, they did gain the sort of the same position. You go from Lamarcus Joyner to Adrian Amos. I consider that kind of a wash, if not an upgrade. You go from Nathan Shefford and Sheldon Rankins on the D line to Will McDonald and Al Woods on the D line. Will McDonald's younger. I was not a fan at all of Will McDonald. Um, Nathan Shefford, Sheldon Rankins, those are two big bodies in the D line. I would consider that a downgrade on the D line. You go to Al Woods. Al Woods is a veteran. He's just a big body. He's not what he's not that great. You lose George Fant on the offensive line. You gain a new center in Joe Tippmann. I'm pretty sure they drafted him. And then you lose three receivers. You gain three receivers. Now you have three receivers that two receivers have chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. Mecole Hardman is very fast, but I've he's been very lackluster. He was not with the Chiefs. The Chiefs wanted to replace Tyreek Hill with him, and that just didn't work. They thought he was going to be Tyreek Hill 2.0. That's just not how it is. Then you go obviously from Mike White to Aaron Rodgers. That's a huge upgrade. I do think this team is. I think this team's very good. I think the reason the strength of schedule is so high is they play the NFC East. So I mean, it's do we think the Jets could beat the Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles, or the Commanders? I think they realistically could beat three of the four teams. Um, especially with that defense. I know Salah has that defense set. I mean, I think we all knew that defense was going to be pretty good no matter who was going to be on it because Salah's just he's that guy. It comes down to that offense now. And I think realistically, Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, I think that works. I've heard that they just are on a page that is unstoppable right now, and that the only person that can stop them right now is on their team, and that's Sauce Gardner. Um, I did hear that Rodgers and Salah were also not, they were kind of butting heads. I mean, you can see that even in Hard Knocks. They're not, when the Hall of Fame game was going on, uh, they were talking. Rodgers was saying to lighten up to Salah, and Salah was like I think of about the worst case scenario. And you know what? There's there's two sides to that. There is you look at the worst case scenario every time. There's sometimes you look at the best case scenario every time. That's just it's difference of opinions there. I think Salah focuses on the defense. I think Rodgers should talk with Hackett if he has an issue on the offense, not Salah. I understand Salah's the head coach, so you want to go to him, but it's Hackett's offense. Um, I don't expect the offense to be similar to the Broncos was last year, just because Hackett and Rodgers have a different chemistry versus Hackett being a head coach of a completely different team, completely new team. That was just he I don't think Hackett was ready to be a head coach. I don't think he is a head coach at all. He might be one of the worst head coaches I've seen recently. Um, I mean, from what I've seen in their schedule, it does look it, even though they're the sixth hardest schedule, they could very well win over 11 games. They could be one of the best teams in football. The issue is the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. They could very well lose all four matchups to those two teams. They could very well win all four of those matchups against those two teams. I think we have a situation similar to the Saints and Bucks when Brady joined the NFC South. The Saints have had more experience. They had Drew Brees, who's been there for a while. Brady was on a new team, and the Saints beat him twice. Both teams made the playoffs. Bucks beat the Saints in the playoffs. I think very similar situation. I'm thinking the Bills win that division. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills swept the Jets, but the Jets might make it further. So that that's probably where I'm sitting at with the Jets. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I don't know if we're going to see Rodgers' MVP candidate year, but I'm expecting still like 30 plus touchdowns from him. So we'll see.